Welcome to Diversity of Thought. I am Sonia. How do you know something you don't know? Would knowing more about a topic change your opinion without bias? Let's explore peer pressure and psychology in the modern times. But first, let's catch you up to speed with a video explaining the Ash line study.
You've probably heard the saying, if all of your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? If you didn't hear your own parents saying it, you probably heard it from parents on TV. It's a question meant to make children stop and think about the power of peer pressure. There's just one problem. There's actually a good chance that people actually would jump off a bridge after all of their friends. At least, there's a better chance than you might think. Conformity forces people to completely abandon all reason and reality. Why else would 900 people drink poisoned Kool-Aid at Jonestown? Why would people commit horrifically violent acts like those during World War II and the Holocaust? Psychologists throughout the second half of the 20th century conducted experiments that focused on conformity, social psychology, and obedience. One of the most famous experiments from this time is the Ash line test. And in this video, I'm going to explain what this line test said and how it shows the power of peer pressure and conformity. So the Ash line test, also known as the Ash conformity experiment, attempted to see how often people would abandon reason just to perform. They were conducted in the 1950s by a psychologist named Solomon Asch. Ash brought individual participants into a room full of Confederates, which is another word for basically actors. Researchers asked the group a series of questions to test their vision. Of course, the Confederates, or the actors, were in on the experiments and answered the questions according to Ash's instructions. One of these tests of vision was to look at a line on one side of the board and 3 lines on the other side of the board, labeled A, B, and C. One of the lines was the same length as the individual line, while the others were noticeably longer or shorter. Ash asked a series of questions about which line was the same length as the individual line, and this was not a tricky test, it was very simple. Ash conducted trials in which participants simply had to guess which line was the same length, without the influence of anyone else. Participants answered correctly 99% of the time. They matched the right lines. He later conducted experiments to show when people can make and share decisions privately, they're less likely to conform. Sometimes, the group would answer correctly, but not always. Ash instructed the Confederates to confidently choose the wrong answer. Now, it was usually pretty obvious that the answer was wrong, but none of the actors batted an eye. Then the participant would have to make a decision. Would they go with their gut, the right answer, and answer separately from the group, or would they conform to peer pressure and choose the incorrect answer? There wasn't much room for debate within these answers because it was pretty simple. Yet, 75% of the participants answered incorrectly at least once in order to conform with the group. That's a lot of people saying the wrong answer just to go along with everyone else. When all of Ash's studies were combined and the data was compiled, researchers found that 33% of the time, participants just went along with the group. This is mind-boggling for psychology. As we move on, why do we conform? All of these factors and the results themselves really make you think about why we conform. The Ash line test is often used to justify the ideas of normative social influence. Participants are influenced to conform to the group solely to avoid social punishment. They do not want to be seen as an outsider. We've talked a lot about this in our in-group and out-group bias videos. Critics of this idea argue that the motivation is simply to avoid punishment rather to conform. They see these two different things as different decisions. Another type of influence, called informational influence, occurs when someone believes that the group is more informed than they are. While this might not have taken place during the Ash line experiments, it's more likely that normative social influence was the culprit. After all, it was pretty obvious which line was the right choice. I mean, you can look at it yourself.
Now, just like a hammer can be used to build a house, it can also be used to commit murder. It is not the tool's fault but those who use it for bad. Let's explore how the Ash line study can be used to manipulate the population. How much of the internet's interaction are just programmable robots or bots? When you think of the internet, you think of technology that brings people from all over the world together. Maybe that's how it started, but has it been infiltrated like most things by nefarious people? 37.2% of all internet interactions are bots. Now apply the Ash line study to peer pressure and social construction on what you see. If you saw a lot of likes and positive comments on a particular topic on Instagram, would that change some segments of the population's thoughts? Marketing is using psychology to sell a product or idea. Let's look at political figures' posts on Instagram and try to spot bots and their comments. The first signs of a bot is a generic positive or negative comment that does not fully apply to the post. Next, look at their profile. A profile with little to no posts or lack of personal info is another sign. Next, look at their followers. While there are always real people who follow whoever follows them, notice this name. How many of their followers are the same equation as them? Low post, high following followers, lack of personality. As most of you have social media accounts, you know patterns of engagement or likes per post. You can usually expect about 10% of your followers to like each post on average, so discrepancies will start to show. There's the same account that was found upstream on another suspected bot. Let's try it again. It's almost like that matching game you played as a kid, or 6 degrees of bot. Now you see the illusion of people that at first glance seem like legitimate accounts, until you see the pattern. With these accounts, they spam an agenda. Let's take a crack at this fellow. You almost start to see a pattern of bots that all follow each other, which follow each other. Got him. Celebrities, late night comedy shows, the news and influencers all do this tactic. Sometimes news outlets are so lazy they just all copy and paste the same exact articles. So lazy sometimes they don't even insert the county name into the headline. See, at least Riverside put their name. Last time I checked, CA had 58 counties and California County is not a county, meaning they didn't personalize the generic story used for all to see. Remember how we said marketing is psychology and these same bots push the same narrative? We have no idea what effect implementing psychology on a mass scale that seems to push fear for compliance will have long-term on a population of people.
Technique is to use waves of terror. Under this technique, the sowing of fear is staggered with periods of calm. But each of these periods of calm is followed by the manufacturing of an even more intense spell of fear. And on the process goes. Or as Mirlu writes, each wave of terrorizing creates its effects more easily after a breathing spell than the one that preceded it, because people are still disturbed by their previous experience. Morality becomes lower and lower, and the psychological effects of each new propaganda campaign become stronger. It reaches a public already softened up.
World governments simultaneously all shut down the world. As we used to all go out and socialize, we find ourselves staying home more and being less social as before. We spend more time on social media, take in more news, see more celebrities and influencers all push the same narrative. Some governments even warned against talking to people.
We need to consider whenever we leave our house that anyone with us, and anyone we come into contact with could convey the virus. So whilst it is in human nature to engage in conversation with others, to be friendly, unfortunately, this is not the time to do that. So even if you run into your next door neighbour in the shopping centre, in the Coles, whilst you're at Coles or Woolworths or Aldi or any other grocery shop, don't start up a conversation. Now is the time for minimising your interactions with others. Even if you've got a mask, do not think that affords total protection. We want to be absolutely sure.
But this is where people start suggesting conspiracies. Ignorance is projecting the fact you are a good person on evil people. While not every government leader is conspiring with evil intent, remember the Ashline study. If people think that others all think the same with media, influencers or bots, how many willing go along with an idea in the name of safety and think they are doing the right thing? Because remember, the future is designed by the world leaders you have never heard of and trickles down. We will be doing a future video on that, but why don't we take a moment to see what the leader Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset and Great Narrative Agenda thinks is best for all of us.
What pleasure to be together again and to design the future. We are here to develop the great narrative a story for the future. You have to design the future, and then you have to execute.